No, but guys, this is African football. I don't know why people are disappointed. I've seen a couple of disappointed people calling the game boring. Guys, this is what Champions League football looks like by and large. It's teams that are going to be physical, that are going to be looking for a draw, that are not going to go forward and up until the last minutes, that are going to try pounce on your mistakes. And that is what we're going to have to learn about these games. I think Pirates did incredibly well in these type of games, because my worry at the beginning of the game was Pirates has so much of the ball. Pirates has so much of the possession, they're passing, they're doing all that stuff. Pirates look like they're at an advantage. But that is what Al Ahly wants from you. They want you to think that you are in the driver's seat. Because then you get overexcited, you start sending more people forward, you start becoming more risky, and that's where they go, they score their one goal and they park the bus. So the fact that Pirates came out of this game with a point to their name, I think it's a good result. I'll speak about what it means for them going forward, but I mean, we'll have that conversation. Now, let's look at the game. I don't understand why Mfukeng is being forced into the 10. I think Mfukeng still has a lot of maturing to do in terms of a game, the ebbs and flows of a game. He's still at that age and at that stage where he disappears at times. And while disappearing is fine when you're playing on the wing and you're out of the game a lot of the time and it's not that much of an important position. When you come into the midfield, you need to be on for most of that time. And I fear that putting him there kind of took him out of the game. And Pirates are still doing that thing I don't understand with Evidence Makgopa. Why is Evidence Makgopa running on the left wing when Pirates is playing? Why is Evidence Makgopa on the pitch at all if you're not going to use these attributes? Look at where Pirates looked great with Makgopa on the pitch. Where did it come from? Ball directly in, he wins the first ball, and even if it's not to play the ball down, which he did where he almost freed a couple of people, even if it's just for him to create some chaos. There was a chance there where Makgopa, just knowing that Makgopa was waiting for that ball, caused the defender to miss his header completely, and that almost freed Mfukeng to run in behind. Then there's the conversation about Usaleng, right? Everybody was crying for Usaleng. And I think we're crying for Usaleng because in the PSL, there's very few players that are as direct as he is. But the problem is when you bring in Usaleng, but you want him to drop back. There was a point where Dino van Rooyen was running ahead of Usaleng, and Usaleng was almost in a defensive position. You start thinking to yourself, do we really not care about what these players do well? Do we really not care that the threat of Usaleng is that run that he makes in like that? The run that Mfukeng and Kota were making in that first match they played together, where they were running in diagonally in behind. So Makgopa pulls out the defender or pulls out the center backs, and then these two outpace the left and right backs. I thought if Nkota was getting so many chances from that gameplay and his only problem was that he wasn't scoring, surely Saleng would come in and he'd finish the job. Surely Saleng would come in and he'd put them all those chances away, and that is why you bring in a Saleng for this game. You don't bring in a Saleng to be another extra winger, another extra wing back. You know, when I saw Tito wasn't on the pitch, I was a little bit happy. Sorry to interrupt the video that I'm sure you're enjoying. But I just wanted to say thank you for all of the support that you guys have shown me and my Overthinking Football platform. I'm a one-man band that's doing all of this, and I really do enjoy the comments about how, you know, Supersport needs to come fetch me and SABC and all of that stuff. And I think it speaks to the quality of the content, but also the amount of effort that I put in. So I just wanted to say thank you. But the truth is that Abu Supersport and all of those guys, yes, we're competing with them, but it's a completely different place. The sponsors are looking for former players. And to be honest with you, running some of these things is getting so difficult, and things have changed at home. So financially, it's a whole different world. So I wanted to try something new and come to the overthinkers, the people who watch the content, and say it would be incredible if you guys could contribute monthly towards the platform, towards keeping my lights on, but also making sure that all of the crazy things that I want to do, that I want to take Supersport on with, I can actually do. And just for 20 Rand every month, I think that would be an incredible contribution if you can make it. It may sound like a little, but if we can get a lot of people behind it, then we'll be able to carry on doing what I do. I'll be able to carry on giving you the content and also expanding it, because we don't have shows like this, and us content creators need help from our audiences. So I just came here to ask you if you can. Here is the account number that you guys can use in order to contribute. And I think, yeah, I'd be very grateful if you would. But anyway, let's get back to the video. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Because I don't believe that Utito can play with Umakhopa. And I thought that having Hoto as the wide option would mean that Pirates would try keep a back three, back five that allows Van Rooyen and Hoto to push up, but then you leave Makosesane and Upodlela in the center to keep a three the whole time, because that's where Pirates had been beaten. I thought that was the point, to have the shell, but then you still have your Mfukeng wide, you still have your Saleng wide-ish, making runs inside, and you let Umakhopa have the space of that center. But I was surprised that that didn't happen, and maybe this game lacked Tito's control. What Tito does very well in these type of games is that he's the temperature controller Pirates. He tells Pirates whether to go faster, whether to go slower. Hey, manje, it's getting too hot. It's just to take pressure off and calm the game down. Then silidlale food. And I think because you're playing an Ahly team that isn't going to come at you, that type of player would be incredible. That combination of Tito and Saleng. I know maybe they were trying to recreate it with Kemang Saleng and Mfukeng. But now you see how important Tito is in that 10. Al-Ahly gave up at some point. Al-Ahly were attacking similar to how Stellenbosch was attacking the Pirates. They were trying to look for those spaces in behind Van Rooyen. They almost got a couple of them. Then I think they got to a point where they went, you know what guys, it's away. We don't really take group stage games that seriously. We just need to get out of the group somehow. And they started sitting back in their shell. It wasn't until Jose made his subs where he sort of opened up the game quite a bit. Now I know Mbata wasn't necessarily on his game, but I think Makaula was closing down those spaces in the mid well enough. And if you wanted to maybe shore up that mid, especially knowing that Al-Ahly is going to attack you towards the end, maybe you go Makaula Tim, and then you allow the other guys or two up front, maybe Mfukeng and Mabasa, to be the ones that try catch them on the counter, or Mfukeng, Mabasa, Saleng, while the rest of the team sits. I think some of the changes he made opened up that game a little bit too much and put Pirates on the back burner. If you look at the changes that Al-Ahly made, they were very direct, they were purposeful. You could tell that Coach Collar was thinking to himself, let's try and stay in the game up to 70 minutes. And then when we get to 70, 75 minutes, that's when we'll start pushing forward and really pressing them. You saw them trying to play. You saw Shahad coming onto the pitch. You saw Afsha coming onto the pitch. You saw Pesitau coming onto the pitch. And look, they could have gotten something. Chain came in clutch with a couple of saves. What does this mean? The nice thing about where Pirates sits right now is that they've got a win in the bag. So you can almost write this game off and say, okay, you expected to win at home and draw away. So you've won at home and you've won away and you're drawing at home. So maybe it evens things out. Al-Ahly sits in a similar position where they know that coming to South Africa is not a friendly trip for them. They haven't been able to win here, I believe, for a very long time, if not ever. Right? So maybe it's a good point coming to South Africa. You know you guys are in winter. You're playing in a packed stadium that is hot, that is summer-like, and you've been able to come back with a point. trusting that when Pirates goes that side, you will win your game. So they did what they needed to do. So it's going to be interesting how this game is going to pan out. We're still going to see how CR Belouizdad plays versus Stade Abidjan. We'll see how they're going to play. But I think kudos to Pirates for not falling victim, even though I think Pirates is going to have to also figure out ways to get past these things, because a lot of African teams are going to play this way. And maybe Coach Jose needs to figure out who his starting lineup is and who his strongest players are, and realize that, hey, these games are going to be some of these tough games. We saw the mixing and the matching hurt them versus Stellies. So maybe there is a Mahupa team and there's a Mabasa team. Maybe there's a team where Relay plays 10 and there's a Tito team. Maybe there's a Dlamini Mbata team and there's a Mbata Dlamini team, and maybe there's even a Makaula team, right? And he's going to have to figure out, because I think now that he's been mixing and matching them, they've lost some of that thing. What worries me about Orlando Pirates is that it's a downward trend in terms of scoring. And the question has gone from, well, the answer they've had was to say, we don't need to blow teams away. We just need one goal. We can relax, we can hold the game, and we can win. But I think Ahly and Stellenbosch have asked the question, what if you don't score? How do you play that game? And maybe this is where the question of the attackers not being part of a lot of the games that Pirates have played in terms of being directly influential. Can they switch it on now when they need it, right? Coach Rulani said that losses tend to follow each other. Losses come with friends. Let's hope that Coach Jose can stem that tide and maybe find the scoring boots again. I know I always speak about the ruthlessness of Jose at times, especially with these strikers, but maybe that ruthlessness has to come in. Maybe Mahupa has had his time in the sun and Mabasa has to come in and maybe jolt it again, maybe take over. They love doing that. As a pirate, so maybe that's what it is. Maybe you need to revert back to that Pirates that was playing last year that was very dangerous in terms of their combinations and play, just so that you can get the boys back their confidence, you know. I don't know what these type of results do to the confidence, but luckily they didn't lose. But anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for joining me. I'll see you guys on the next one.